Ms. Kambon, how you doing? I'm all right.
Good.
I got a question to ask you, though.
I'm listening.
How come we can't get our documents?
I don't know. I emailed Dr. Hills today and say, and you heard me ask the question. You mean to tell me I can just call you and get this information? And so I emailed her and said, when are you going to respond to Mr. Whitaker? And I didn't get an answer yet.
Okay. All right. One of the things I'd like to do, I'd like to have someone put it on the agenda for the public to know that you have 3,800 students out here that aren't getting the tutoring. And I'd like it to be a public issue because it is a public issue. What's going on with those parents? Those parents were looking to get that tutoring back in November.
How many vendors do we have right now?
The data that we have indicates there's only 4 vendors. They have approved 4 vendors. You have to send out the email.
4?
You have to send out an email confirmation. The email confirmation has to be sent out to the providers so that they can then start. That doesn't occur until all of their paperwork and everything is in. There have been 4 providers because the paperwork has not been turned in properly. And so I say this, that the providers prior to now had been getting that paperwork in, and they were approving it without going through it. And so now the providers are afraid, and the district is afraid to put that paperwork through because it is.
Why are the providers? Oh, you're saying that they're frightened that they're going to do it.
The providers realize the providers realize that there's something going on, but they have done it this way in the past. They have done it this way in the past. Since 2007, when they allowed the providers to turn in the forms. When the providers were allowed to turn in the forms, then they were allowed then to manipulate the system, and then those individuals that were supposed to be monitoring it were overwhelmed, and they allowed it to go through. And now you have providers that are used to the system, used to letting it go through. Now Joyce is not letting it go through, so the problem is, yeah, right, she ought to be scared. She's responsible. And so now you have the providers, they're going to try to do what they've been doing in the past, but it's all past the deadline. All the deadlines are past due.
When are these kids going to get help?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The whole program, at this point, they had 2,500 that they had to throw out. And so they only had 135 that went down to 87. So you have 83. You have 83 students that are approved for tutoring.
That's all.
That's all. And 4 providers.
And
According to the
how much money did the state send?
$6.3 million was approved for tutoring, for the No Child Left Behind tutoring. And so the problem's going to look, the problem's going to be
who are they going to point the finger at?
Well, it's going to be Joyce Hackett.
No, I'm talking about who are they, but who are they going to, in May, or June, when the statistics come out and they say that we got 4.5 million that was sent.
Or 6.3 million.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to pretend that they've used some of it. So when they only have used less than half, who can Joyce point the finger at now? I mean, who's she going to point the finger at? I'm asking you because you've been watching this for a while. Because it's going to come out in the paper like it did last year.
Yeah, well,
Columbus City schools did not use.
It's going to be a little more deeper than that. And it's going to be deeper than that because you're going to have, once the fraud comes out, they're going to have to inspect and find out how the fraud occurred. Now, by them trying to shore up all of the things that are supposed to help prevent the fraudulent activity, and they're shoring those up, But the problem is, it was facilitated because you had the creation of the super PO, which took it out of the control of the committee. And so then you had that out of the super PO, it had to go back now underneath just now, you guys voted for it, so it went back underneath the board. Well, Braverman created that phony paperwork to say that it was supposed to be in June, but then they canceled it because of the, so that's phony paperwork created to try to make this thing look right. And so what I'm saying is, once you start finding out that you've got the fraud involved, then you're going to have to find out how it occurred. Then you're going to find out who was involved with it. And then you're going to find out the administration allowed it to occur.
I got you.
Facilitated.
I got you.
Now, you as a board member, you're the only person that can stop it, because the administration is full blown in it. The district has no intent of trying to stop it. So as a board member, you have to stop it. And you're going to be held responsible because you have prior knowledge of it. So my suggestion is to try to get the rest of the board members to put it on the board so that it can be a public item. Then you can bring attention to it under a public item, and the news media then will say that the board is taking action, because you're not taking any action. And the way Carol Perkins is pounding that gavel, they're trying to create a situation where they're making me look like a threat and all of that, and I'm not going back into that.
No, nobody's. So far, I haven't heard that. Matter of fact, the new board member, he said he's going to ask for a personal investigation. Did you speak with him? Mr. Stewart? Mr.
Stewart, I haven't spoke with him recently, but my wife spoke with him.
Okay.
And so he's somewhat aware of it. But the point is that, yes, y'all need to begin to put together some kind of force to bring it into the public's attention so that the monkey won't be on your back.
I got you. And I commend you and Bernadine for staying.
Well, you know, we go back a long way. All right. All right. All right.